It's helpful if I can see your whole body. Right. Okay. Ah, my head. My head got chopped off here. Okay. Something like that. Want to start with, see, we got a couple of new people. Let's start with a little warm up. A little bit about body orientation stuff here. I'm releasing all my joints, all areas of my body that I feel like I'm gripping to hold myself vertical. I'm releasing. I'm giving all my weight to the ground. There's a point behind the pad of the foot, the bubbling well, and I'm curious about that spot. I'm releasing my ankles, my knees are soft and bent, my pelvis is neutral. The lower dantian or tendon. Curious about that, putting my curiosity there. Let the pelvis be neutral and soft and fluid. Release all gripping around the pelvis as much as you can. Let the whole upper body be spacious. So I'm not trying to have it be pulled up to the heavens by that hook on the top of the head. I'm giving space for that. So there's space in between the vertebrae, but not forced space. That will naturally tuck the chin. Don't force the chin back. There's space underneath the armpits, naturally. My arm, I'm releasing my elbow, I'm releasing my wrist, releasing my shoulder. Tongue lays along the roof of the mouth. Eyes are open, finding a spot on the horizon, gently looking at it, but not forcefully looking at it. The pelvic floor is dynamic. There may be you may think of a little sense of slight lift through there, but not forced. Let's do a little warm up. So I'm living in this sea of chi. So I'm moving through this fluid environment. My elbows are heavy. Let's roll the wrists in, roll the wrists in. I'm stacking the body. My elbows are heavy. Wherever I assume that I need to grip to hold my body up, to move my arms, could I creatively see that's an assumption that's not quite right, and I can give everything to the ground. So I'm leaning into the ground to move my hand. Rather than taking my shoulder and pulling my hand up from my shoulder, I'm using the ground. I'm leaning into that to move and then rolling out. pouring the weight into my left leg and I'm mobilizing my right ankle. I kind of pointing my toe and I'm pressing down on my toe a little bit here and I'm kind of gently mobilizing the bones in my foot. You can see everybody change in direction. And then standing up. So now I'm in my left bubbling well. I'm standing up and I'm opening the left quad like a rubber band. I'm opening the left quad and I'm pouring all the weight down through the right quad, down into the center of the earth, standing up. And then that left quad will pull me back to center. And now I'm mobilizing my left. If you don't understand that yet, that's okay. We'll get to that over time. We're deep into the immersion here. We're cooking. So we've got that kind of flavor here today and changing direction. Putting the feet together and warming up the knees. My hands are on my knees, but I'm not laying on my knees here. Just gently laying them there. I'm not putting pressure on my knees. Change in direction. And then taking the feet to shoulder width and circles with the pelvis. So I'm not going to an extreme, but I'm doing the movement. How do I throw everything I've got into it, but I'm not forcing? Changing direction. Again, I'm continually leaning into the floor to move. So there's the ground, 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 there's the ground. And then how about just little circles? So now I'm gently taking my pelvis and is it that movement before was a little gross? We're going more subtle. And I'm gently curling my tailbone under and then arching it back a little bit here. Releasing the spine. Maybe noticing the base of the skull start to release a little bit here. Changing direction. How about a spinal wave? So I'm going to curl my chin down and I'm going one vertebrae at a time. I'm going down, 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 and then diving out and up. And then changing direction. I'm diving out and I'm curling up one vertebrae at a time. How about one more? The windmill. I'm putting my hands, my palms are flat facing up, and I'm going down and around like a windmill. And changing direction when you're ready. Great. Coming back. Looking at our time. Let's come into Wuji, the first position. I think today, because we're deep into the immersion, I'd like to do some Jamjong and then leap for a while into non-directed. Just cook a little bit today. So let's look at our first posture again. Wuji, the first posture, the best posture. Feet are parallel, shoulder width, finding the bubbling well, releasing the ankles. My pelvis is, again, neutral, which is going to be hard for people at first. Maybe for a long time, it's going to be difficult to be neutral to pelvis. Don't force it. Don't make more tension trying to make neutral. The pelvic floor is dynamic. We're curious about the tandem, the lower body sinking and the upper body's floating. Tongue is on the roof of the mouth, space under the armpits. The eyes are open. Again, tongue's on the roof of the mouth. Byway point is expansive here. The elbows are a little bit round here and soft, and the hands are full, like they're balloons being blown up. So they're not dead fish and they're not angry hands, but they're being blown up by this fullness. Sinking straight down, coming into hugging the tree. I'm gently hugging a little beach ball between my knees, and I'm sitting down on a big balloon or a yoga ball or a bar stool. What I do with people when they're first starting out is often I'll pull them down and I'll pull their koshi mingmon back a little bit, and then I'll try to get them over the bubbling well. When I pull them back, often they'll go onto their toes or their heels, but I want to keep them through that bubbling well. There should be a sense of almost opposition here, fullness in the lower back and fullness in the hands. This sense of fullness here. Mm. The thumbs, careful not to let the thumbs and the hands gently point up. Let that middle finger point at the other middle finger. We don't want our hands too close and not too far apart. Okay. Don't control the breath. We're sitting down. It should look, when I look at you, it should look like there's a sense of down through the quad, where the thigh meets the pelvis. It should look like there's a sense of down here. So if you're doing your practice on your own, take a look at the mirror and then adjust your posture, and then don't look at the mirror and just absorb into the posture. And then maybe a little bit later, check out the mirror. Oh my gosh, what did I do? I stood up, I went into a pattern, and then look away. So don't obsess about the perfect posture, but also dialogue with it. This posture should create some tension in your system. Should create some problems here that then it kind of illuminates where the body is unconsciously stuck. And it starts to mobilize that internally. Wherever I'm gripping, I'm releasing. So if I find myself gripping at my pelvis to hold my arms up, I release that and I give it to the ground. I'm not chasing that ball away, and I'm not, my arms aren't too close to my body. This is sort of non-committal, and then this is over-committing. So I'm in the middle. I found this sweet spot, and then something interesting starts to wake up here. Like I feel like I can start to work with this, with the energy, with where the body's gripping. I can start to let that release. So we've got to find that. Sitting down like a we're like a mountain here, three-dimensionally expansive. So the front is expansive, the back is substantial, the sides, the top of the head is shining up. We're magnetized to the center of the earth. And then the center of that's the tanden. That's 6 minutes. We're going to do 4 more. And if you're new and you're hitting your limit, you can go back to Wuji. That's okay. It's good to do shorter times and then gradually adding your time. So 5 minutes, and then when 5 minutes is doable, do 6 or 5.5. all the way up to being able to do 20 minutes in the posture. And we've got several postures. This is a really great one to start. If you're not running into problems, like if this isn't at all difficult for you, if you feel like, oh, I don't really know what they're doing, you got to sit down more on that yoga ball. That will create some friction in the system, which we're looking for. That helps. And then some of us are maniacs, so we push it too much, so we got to back off. Looking at your hands, make sure they're not way out here, or they're not way up here. Right here, we're not moving in this posture, maybe slightly, but we're not moving. So we're letting all the movement happen on the inside. Maybe we just kind of walk around, gripping our back, gripping our chest, and we kind of feel like, oh, that's me. That's that feeling I have of tensions where I find myself. That's where I relate to the world, is through that place of tension. And here we're creatively seeing that, oh, that's trying to open up. That's changing. That's melting. Good, good. Let's do just a little movement and then we'll go into a little extended, non-directed. Taking the ball out in front of the belly. I'm holding this round ball and it's real. It's not my imagination. What do I need to do with whatever I think of my structure? What do I need to do to make that ball show up more? If I let my structure soften and melt, does that ball show up more? Whatever it takes, letting that ball be real. Now let's take that ball around the lower body here and let's stay with it. So don't just call it in. I'm taking it around and I'm gonna grab it over here as it comes around my back and I'm guiding it around my body here. The ball's real. Tongue is on the roof of the mouth. Is there a pace where I can stay with it? Like, oh, it stays real. Notice some of you who've been doing this a while, that ball is real and the movement is really simple, but it's just driving me into the ground. So I'm simply moving here from the tendon, from the ground, and it's just, instead of the movement stopping at my shoulders or in my back, it's just driving everything into the ground through the bubbling well. And then changing direction, going the other way. So this is our opportunity to get in touch with the energy. If you're not feeling the energy, this is our creative work to find it, to work with it. For me, getting in touch and feeling the energy, connecting. It's like the volume in the room turns up. It's like the whole thing gets bigger. Coming back, really simple. Let's just be really simple here. I'm taking the ball up to about the height of my heart, and I'm going out. I'm not overextending here, and then down and back. And again, let's find the pace where it feels like I really am working with the energy. That ball is real and I'm moving it. Keep the body fluid. I know some of you can find the energy, can work with it, and then you move and it just is gone. So what would it take? This kindergarten process of, I can stay with it, I think, a little bit, just a little bit. We're not hurting ourselves. We're not forcing in any way. Like we're learning this whole other latent, natural way of interacting with our experience. And then change in direction, down, out, up, and back. Again, we're cooking in the immersion, the energy's there. We're just learning to work with it. Don't overextend. If I'm moving and I lose the ball, like I'm moving, I feel it, and then I lose it, the chances are that's where my pelvis is locked up. Great. I want to just push us a little bit into the non-directed for a while here. Let's take an extended time, not that long, but at least 15 minutes in the non-directed. So the non-directed, we're just standing here. We're not doing anything. We're not creating anything. We're not blocking anything. So if the body starts to try to process something physically, maybe with some kind of movement, we're letting that happen. We're not initiating that. We're not making that movement happen. But if the body needs to kind of, we're taking our rules away for a little while and letting the body take over. So say you end up, with your arm starts to move or your pelvis or whatever, you just don't edit that. You just let it take over. Let the body and the energy take center stage here rather than leading with your mind. It's okay if nothing happens. It's okay if you end up on the floor, if you end up nauseous or emotional. Very, very normal. Some of us, we're basically just freaking out all the time. And we're just going out in front of our experience constantly to try to curate it, to fix it, to change it. And here, what if we just didn't do that? We just stopped. We didn't go out front and, put the scalps out there to fix everything. We just let everything come to us. We didn't reach out. What would be happening? Maybe whatever is showing up right now, we're kind of ignoring it. We maybe don't even know it, but we're editing whatever's showing up and we're pushing it aside or we're leaping to something else. And what if we instead just felt exactly what is happening? Maybe we think it's all invalid, so we go past it. But what if exactly what we're feeling is the door to open? It's the gate that we're missing. Maybe the body's this thing over there we're dealing with. Come on, body, get in line here. I'm trying to do something here. And then with this practice, we just say, what's the body doing? Maybe I'll just really get in my body. I'll just feel exactly what's happening. And it starts off very, very physical, just very physical. Just gonna just feel what's happening. Don't do any breathing technique. Don't try to make the energy do anything. That might be something you don't realize, a program you've taken on. Here we're just setting that aside. Even the good breathing techniques you think are good, just setting those aside. Some of us are good at movement, so we just leap into movement. And I would suggest here, just stopping. Don't do anything. Don't create any movement. And those that never move, again, why is it that you never move? Are you in brace mode, locking down? So just stopping. Is there some kind of inner movement there, something more subtle than what you're used to? There's time for a creative movement later, which is beautiful. But here we're not creating anything. I suspect some of you, when you do this, it feels like you just get strangled by a vice grip. One day you're just able to let that vice grip just obliterate you, and you start to change, something opens up. And we're living right here, right now. It's not over there. Why do I leap over there? Some of us in our meditation, we're trying so hard. We're trying to do it right so hard that we are just blocking our experience. So here, this is this amoral, creative feeling time to say, I don't have to do it right. And what's happening? What's showing up? Let's do one more posture. Just humor me. And how is it different now that we've done the non-directed? How is it more buoyant? What's animating my structure? I'm sitting down, my arms are coming up, and I'm gently pushing the ball away. I'm not overextending here. My arms aren't way above my head. It's not too far. It's a simple posture. It's not that high. Let the elbows be heavy. I'm sitting down. I'm a little bit more on my heels here, but it's not extreme. And I'm simply starting to just maybe I'm pushing the ball slightly out and up, but not extreme. And you want to be in your legs here. This is leg work. If your legs don't look bent, they got to bend. And then if they're too extreme, back off. Just a reminder that all of the Jamjong postures like this one came out of the non-directed. So the body started to open itself up. The central channel started to open itself up, and these postures, which we do now, they emerged out of that. So if you think, how does the non-directed relate to the Jamjong? I think, we're looking at it wrong. Releasing within the posture, staying basically in the posture. We're releasing, we're making it easy within the posture. So wherever I'm gripping, I'm creatively releasing, making it easier. We think we grip to make it easier. Like I'll hold on to my back here, and because I feel uncomfortable, because I'm scared, I'll hold on to my back here, and that'll be the easier route. And once we start to see that as I release and I give everything to the ground, to the tendon, then it gets easier. We don't believe it, so we create these false floors in the body to hold the arms up. Good. Good. And coming on down, really simple. Let's take 5 big movements gathering down to the lower dantian. So I'm taking and I'm gathering the energy around me down to the lower dantian. Don't go too fast and don't go too slow either. People will be going and they'll go real slow, and then, they're doing, oh, I'm getting really spiritual. And then all of a sudden gone. They're in, elementary school, you know, spacing out. So there's a kind of a sharp, uh, poignant edge that we're working with here. At the end of the movements, putting women put the left hand on the tendon, right hand on top, and men put the right hand on the tendon, left hand on top. And rubbing down the body. Down the outside of the arms, up the inside, down the outside, up the inside. Get the armpits, wherever your body's kind of, stiff or rusty, rubbing it. Your rib cage, stiff in there. Down the outside of the legs, up the inside, down the outside, up the inside, down the back of the legs, up the front, down the back of the legs, up the front. Get the kidneys along the lower back, really important for the tendon. Great, great, great. I'm gonna give a little bow. Thank you so much. Questions, comments, confusion? Don't be shy. Please, your questions will help someone else. Insights?
So in the non-directed, I'm never really like doing big movements. Like never. It never happened before. I'm only doing like a little shaky thing or like a like wobbling a bit or maybe tensing in some way a bit. But there's never like a like, and I don't even see how that could happen. Like, that feels totally like I would completely create that. I don't see a way how this would happen. I'm curious.
Yeah, well, I think for one thing, it's okay if you don't do the big movements. And it's okay if you don't ever do them, um, for one. And also, looking for them is also kind of tricky because then we put some kind of we get some kind of little agenda there with it, even if it's just a little one. That's also a little bit tricky, I think. Um, and then well, I think what will happen is, as we're getting creative, as we're letting the laboratory kind of evolve, as we're standing there, it might be like waves of small movements might get bigger. And as maybe it could just be very physical. Like my my hips finally started to kind of unwind in some way, and they started very, very small, and then they started to get a little bit bigger. And I think in some ways, some of us were there and we're okay for a little bit, and then we edit a little. We edit and we say, well, okay, that's enough, even if it's a little unconscious. And it may be that, I've been hours, just hours, where my hips have been unwinding. I've been these big, huge movements for hours, and um, for me, it was like I'm just going to let this happen, and um, I don't know where it's going, and So I think you have to be kind of a pirate here. You have to be kind of rebellious. You have to say, well, maybe I'm doing it wrong, but something's happening. And I think it's also at a certain point okay to once you've been doing the non-directed to you can take a little time and say, well, I'm going to move a little bit, and I'm gonna see what happens, and then go back to that zero and see if there's some movement coming through. So I think playing with it, being creative, um, not making it, this is the right way to do it, this is the wrong way, and having it be a time of amoral interacting with the system. And but yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, yeah. I just keep going. Yeah. No, thanks for the comment. Anybody else? Some,
Hi.
and then some of our dancers, they're immediately leaping to a big movement, and I think that's also a little bit of a trap. So I think there's anyway, yeah, just to put that out there. Sorry, go ahead, Jacob.
Hi. I was wondering if you have some tips on coming from the ground or from the tandem in outside of meditation, outside of standing, outside of sitting. That seems to be challenging.
Yeah. So like, you know, like if I'm picking up this chair, could I pick up this chair without my shoulders? Like, could I pick it up? Like, could I lift up the chair without my shoulders? Could I pick up a rice bag without gripping? What would that take? Is that possible? Like, you know, you got to be like fascinated, So I'm in this monastery running around. How do I pick up this rice bag without using my arms? We've kind of wrestled sometimes. There's a Swedish guy. How do I push him over without, you know, how do I push him without using my shoulders? Or just all day, how do I rake? How do I rake? How do I wash my rice? With my belly instead of using my arm. How do I like taking a walk? I'm a little bit nuts. You can be a little bit nuts with like, what the hell is going on here? Could I move from the ground? You know, releasing my elbows, releasing the body, and just all day long being fascinated. That's how people change. Like, what were these people doing that they like their bodies opened up energetically? Like just being inspired by that for me was like, that's possible. I know I can't do it. How is that possible? And just walking around, feeling into that. That's what I would suggest.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You know, just all the time. And it doesn't have to be a chore. If it's a chore, you do it for a couple minutes and then you'll go on with what you want to do. But if it's fun, if it's exciting, then it will be, oh, I can't wait. I'm just, what is that? You know? Um, when I was younger, I was really into athletics. I was really athletic. I did a bunch of stuff, and there'd be times in sports when I would just, I would drop my control, and I'd enter this free space, and that gave me, um, it gave me a sense of confidence in something, and then I was kind of looking for a way to find that. And when I met the Roshi, in many ways, I thought, oh, he's like that all the time. It's not some kind of flow state. It's like, this is how he exists. So, what would that be like? And I think just playing with that all the time. Um, if you're that kind of animal, it'll be really creative and fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's great. Thank you. Thanks for a great question. Thank you. And like people are like, well, the danger is that people keep things at the level that they understand. So I understand this, and then I'll just go over here and I'll understand it differently, you know, and And what I'm saying is there's this whole deeper levels of being able to interact with our experience that's what we're learning here. So we're not just like at our level where we go over here and we learn it slightly different. The way we do everything, we kind of like, oh, I learned it a little bit differently. The same way I learn everything. We're making a leap of how we experience our what's happening. And that's where that's what I'm trying, that's why I'm teaching these classes or leading them, because I'm kind of pushing it out there that there's something else going on. We're not just getting better at our our ways of, you know, yeah, our Windows 95 or whatever, you know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah, I was, um, that's really helpful. I was sort of really seeing today my tendency to kind of like try see something happening and then extrapolate about where it's going. So it's like I'm here and then it starts to move here and I'm like, okay, great, we're going over there. And in the postures, that shows up a lot as as like when kind of like I feel things start to move or like the friction is kind of setting in, that I'm like, all right, I'm just like my tendency is to be like, I'm gonna like force the energy through to like clear it. And then when I'm like, okay, I cannot do that. And then that's when I can like drop through the floor and, oh, actually there's something else happening. And then in the non-directed, I feel like a movement will start to happen and I'll be like, oh, we're going over here. And then I want to like finish it or like go. And then it's like being constantly on myself about like, that's an idea that I'm laying on top of the movement. So interesting. So interesting. Yeah.
so interesting. And um it's so true. And you know, just to kind of illustrate it a little bit, like a little bit differently, if it's helpful, by Amos. It, like if you meet like a really high level like Tai Chi person, like in push hands, they're in complete neutral. So and when you touch someone who's in complete neutral, your system becomes overwhelmed. Like you don't know what to do because or if someone's really good with like craniosacral or touch, when they touch you, your system lights up because they're not going to that next thing. They're not leading the system. And when we encounter that, it's like this, there's something so powerful about it. And it's so contrary to the way most of us are moving through the world. We're like I said, we're sending out the scouts. We're leaving what's happening constantly, and because we want to be good or whatever we want to, we want to help, and it's so unnerving for most of us to not do that, and then see something coming out of that that's so strange, so not what we expected, and and wow, what is that? That unknown is blossoming, and yeah, so unfortunately, I don't think that's around too much. So I'm kind of trying to share that with these classes. And the non-directed's really interesting because it gives us more permission to look for that, to let that happen.
I was going to say also just like one more little
Yeah.
tidbit from that I came up from what you were saying is like, I also today I was remembering a couple weeks or months ago, you said something to the effect of like, if you feel like you know what's going on here, something to look at is then like what's happening in the relationship with the teacher. And that was like, came back today. And I don't feel like I have much to say about that other than that's a really good pointer. I appreciate that.
Yeah. 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 Well, great. Yeah. Yeah, great. Well, thank you. Thanks everyone. I'll be here at 1 o'clock my time for the Jump John class. Everybody here can do it. It's not like you can't. It's not like it's too hard, but we'll push it a little bit differently. And we're in the immersion here in the last week, so who knows what'll happen in that class. So we're cooking. Thanks so much, everybody. See you soon. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Okay.